Senator Ted Cruz says that the FBI may have been spying on United States senators. He sent a letter over to Merrick, Garland, the Department of Justice, and he says, hey, AG, we know you're working for Biden, but we got deep concerns about recent revelations that your DOJ engaged in a campaign, check this out, of covert surveillance of the personal communications of lawyers advising Congress and their oversight committees. Pretty big problem. This is something that comes over from a Freedom of Information Act request that came out from Empower Oversight. We'll read through this full thing and see what they were able to uncover. But this is what Ted Cruz is referencing. He says, the decision by unelected government bureaucrats to investigate Congress, their representatives, and their staff, the same people who are trying to hold them accountable, is a true attack on our democracy. And he's referencing this FOIA request. He says, look, Empower Oversight revealed that the DOJ subpoenaed a Senate staffer's private phone and email logs during the pendency of a congressional investigation of both the DOJ and the FBI for their involvement in the Crossfire Hurricane Russia collusion hoax. So while they were investigating, the FBI was investigating the Senate and the Senate staffer. Incredible. Now, this is what the FOIA request ultimately looked like. This, of course, comes from Empower Oversight at empower.us. Great follows on the X platform and elsewhere. They say, hey, dear FOIA officer, we are a nonprofit organization dedicated to enhancing oversight. They tell us that on October 19th, the founder, called Jason Foster, awesome dude, received a notification from the DOJ. They submitted some information. They say that the DOJ had served legal process on Google. That's where they got this information from 2017 for records of a Google Voice telephone number that's connected to his family's telephone. Had served legal process saying that connected to his family's telephone. In 2017, Mr. Foster was the chief investigative counsel to the U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee, Mr. Chuck Grassley. So it's him directing congressional oversight investigations into waste, fraud, and abuse of the United States Constitution. So he sends to Google, I want to know, have you been served with any documents, any process, any warrants for this number? They say, yeah. Google provided a redacted copy of the subpoena that was issued by the United States District Court for D.C. September 12, 2017, meaning it compelled the release of records related to Google accounts and presumably other companies. Empower has information indicating that other accounts listed in the subpoena belong to other staffers, both Republicans and Democrats, for U.S. House and Senate committees, and also engaged in oversight investigations of Justice Department at the time. So the FBI, the DOJ, is filing motions in the district court to get cell phone records of the lawyers who are working on behalf of the Congress to investigate the FBI. For each of these listed telephone and email accounts, the subpoena compelled Google to release customer and subscriber information as well as their names, addresses, local long-distance records, text message logs, session times, length of service utilized between December 1st and May 1st. So not only did the subpoena compel the release of the identifying information of the subscriber to each account, but it also compelled the release of records indicating with whom the user was communicating. This is the subpoena number. This is the U.S. Attorney's Office number, and it's also attached as an exhibit. Here it is. To custodian of records, here's a subpoena. You're commanded to bring the following documents with you. It is the phone number redacted by Empower Oversight, and all other redactions are by Google. So this phone number, which is Jason's phone number, okay, the guy who runs Empower Oversight now, he was previously somebody who worked with the Republicans. He's still working to blow the whistle on these corrupt crooks. But they sent a letter to Google, a warrant to Google saying, Jason Foster, give us your stuff. So that's his actual number in there, and along with other people, presumably. They want names, addresses, local long-distance connections, text messages, records of session times, length of service, all the things, okay? This is from a U.S. attorney. Clerk of the court signs off on it. Bring the following documents. Warrant has been granted. Now, we continue on, and they say, we need some more information about this. Other former staffers have been publicly referenced as getting similar notices, like Kash Patel. DAG Rosenstein had threatened to subpoena staffers and their personal records, and the targets were not limited to Republican staff. Democrats in Congress have also called for investigations into the targeting of their communications as well. So the FBI is a mutually exclusive party. They will mutually inclusive. They will bring in both sides of this. They said that they were going after their records, sending subpoenas to Apple. Now, according to its website, the DOJ reviews all of this stuff before sending subpoenas to members of Congress. But they say there appears to be an extensive and far-reaching effort to use grand jury subpoenas and perhaps other means to gather personal communications from innocent staffers and their families with no legitimate predicate. The number listed listed in this subpoena to Google disclosed that to Mr. Foster, it was actually used by his wife, who never even communicated with the media on that phone number or any other. So his innocent wife got her communications raided by the FBI. This raises serious public concerns about the basis for these intrusions. The only reason they're doing this is to access their information. It begs the question is whether this is a pretext to gather intelligence on their behalf. And so this is the records request. This is what they want. They say, search for all of this. Here's our fee waiver request, and it's some standard FOIA stuff. So that went out, and it is coming from, that was from Tristan Levitt, who signed off on this. Now, he works alongside Jason Foster at Empower Oversight. So he's writing it, basically on behalf of Jason Foster, but Jason Foster works for Empower Oversight. Now, he's the same victim of the FBI spying on his personal records because he's investigating the FBI. Reprehensible. Now, this is where Ted Cruz picks back up. He says, in one instance, the department subpoenaed Google for all telephone records and text messages for the chief counsel of the Senate Judiciary Committee during a very period in time that the staffer directed oversight into the department itself. Cruz says, further, records indicate that the personal records of a House staffer employed by the Select Committee were additionally targeted as part of a vendetta campaign. Rod Rosenstein threatened to subpoena for failure to comply with process, but even so, the targets of the department and the FBI were not limited to Republicans. Democrats have called for investigations as well. Empower Oversight submitted an FOIA, a Freedom of Information Act, FOIA request for all relevant documents. Now, while FOIA requests are valuable tools, it's not going to be enough. Says Congress has questions as well. I'm a senator. Notwithstanding the investigation that's happening, Congress is entitled to our own parallel review of the records. And so, Merrick, Garland, and the DOJ, please provide the names of all officials at the DOJ that drafted or supervised or approved the issuance of grand jury subpoenas in these cases. We want the names of everybody employed by the Senate or the House or members of Congress who got these subpoenas from the FBI and the DOJ. Please provide the names of all persons for which subpoenas were sought. Please provide any specific predicate criteria, like why did you think this was appropriate to get these, and let us know what criteria you used to make the decision. Please provide any information about Attorney General Rod Rosenstein's involvement in the issuance of these warrants and subpoenas. Please submit to the Senate Committee on the Judiciary all documents about the grand jury subpoena related to this case and to this case. Please provide information on how you searched this, how you complied with FISA. Please indicate whether the DOJ is still in possession of the documents that you got from the grand juries, and please identify all indicators that were used to specify House or Senate devices and phone numbers. Also want to know whether you contacted Google, Verizon, Apple, AT&T, or other things. This extensive and far-reaching effort to use grand jury subpoenas and perhaps other means to gather communications is absolutely unacceptable. The executive branch overreach and gross violation of separation of powers that's apparent in this case shocks the conscience and shakes public confidence in our justice system to the core. The public deserves answers. In light of these very serious concerns, we await your detailed and speedy response. Sincerely, your friends, Ted Cruz, Mike Lee, and Chuck Grassley, U.S. Senators. It's just crazy. I mean, they're senators. They're investigating the DOJ, and the DOJ is getting subpoenas for their records. And these are being done in collusion with the FBI and the other intelligence agencies, meaning they're basically running the country, okay, because they're threatening or investigating anybody who even challenges them. So very disgusting conduct. Fortunately, Ted Cruz is looking into it. Thankfully, we've got guys like Jason Foster who are warriors out there, and like Tristan Levitt from Empower Oversight, who are absolutely at the forefront battling this stuff, trying to get access to the records and uncover the corruption taking place out at the DOJ and the FBI. We'll continue to cover it, my friends. Be sure you're supporting empower.us, following them on the X platform. We'll be looking forward to seeing you and their work here on the next one.